People of Earth, we have come to upgrade your cosmic consciousness. DNA activation ready. In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome to Q&A on Breakthrough Leadership. I'm Lou Quinto.
And I'm Craig Anderson.
Today our topic is going to be how to become a successful coach. Usually at work we're managing people, but do we take the time to coach people? And so what we're going to do is flesh it out using 3 topics. First one is coaching being a full-time job. Second one is making sure that we observe before giving feedback. And then lastly, learning how to ask questions. So our first topic, tell me about coaching being a full-time job, Craig.
Well, so coaching it's a job of every leader, every manager, right? This is the whole idea of how much
Assumed or implied?
Assumed or implied, geez, I don't know. I don't know that most leaders assume that it is their job.
Right.
I would imply it is always their job.
Good.
So coaching is bringing your people along, right?
Mm-hmm.
Executive coaching is a big thing. I'm an executive coach. You know, you've done coaching. It is a big part of what people do, but it's not just hiring an external person to come in and help your people. It's where are you taking the opportunities to coach
Right.
and see those opportunities to help your staff, help your team figure out how to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and one of the things that I always say, and reason why it is a full-time job, is it needs to become part of a job description.
Right.
A lot of times when it comes to coaching, we only coach those people who are in the middle of the pack and we want them to do better, or they have issues that we need to help them through. That's not the only time to coach. Coaching is also taking your A players, your stars, and trying to make them good to great,
yeah,
if not great to greater,
right.
in that particular instance. But everybody that works for you, you need to coach them. And most of us look at coaching as a nuisance because we associate coaching with someone who has problems, and I don't want to deal with problems. And we don't look at coaching really getting the group to that performing stage when it comes to team dynamics.
Right.
The second topic, observing before giving feedback. A lot of times I find when I come in as a consultant from the outside, you've got a lot of managers who like to practice that seagull management, where they come in, flap their arms, yell at everybody, and poop on everyone and leave. And in many instances, we give feedback on the job done, and we don't give feedback on the process to get the job done. And so I always recommend is that in order to really coach, you need to watch somebody to see how they're doing things, what are they doing well, what are they not doing well, before giving that feedback, as opposed to just waiting till the end at the finish line and then giving them feedback based upon the actual results. Because at that particular point, they're not going to be able to go back and correct anything. And so you can't have that improvement throughout. And so observing, watching people is important before giving that feedback.
Yeah, I think there's a definite piece of this about observing what's going on, because a lot of times you'll get kind of the sideways, hey, it's not me, it's over here, Sue or Bob are the ones that really need feedback. And if you go marching in there working on that feedback, you're not getting the whole story, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a portion to observe their performance, observe how they work. And then the coaching opportunities present themselves within that. And I think it's the importance of having one-on-ones with team members. So you're actually working with them at least once a week, trying to figure out where they're stuck and where you can help them get unstuck. So a big part of being a coach is observing before you're giving feedback. You're not a consultant coming in and telling people what to do. You're not a mentor providing them opportunities. So those are sometimes part of the leadership role as well. But when you're coaching, you're helping them find answers within themselves that will help them become more successful. So it's more of almost an internal change as opposed to an external direction.
Yeah, I like that distinction between the 3, coaching, mentoring, and consulting.
Yeah.
And there is a difference for all of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in observing, goes back to our first topic. It's a full-time job.
Right.
You've got to be able to observe people and then take the time to sit down with them one-on-one or in a group setting to say, okay, let me talk to you about what I saw. And during that observation, during that feedback with the observation, don't editorialize. You've got to just report on what you saw. Right. Because you don't know what people were thinking or what their intentions were when they were doing it. And when we editorialize, sometimes that editorializing becomes negative.
Which is a great tee to the next very nice low-hanging softball for us, Lou. It's learn to ask questions, right?
Yeah.
So what about the questions?
Well, when it comes to asking questions, a lot of times we don't take the time to say, why did you do something one way, or how did you do this way? And a lot of times as manager, they expect that we know why they did something or how they did something. But as we've talked about, in previous podcasts, where we've got people who are from different generations doing things differently, you've got to learn to ask questions, particularly open-ended questions, how and why.
Right.
Because if you don't ask how and why, you're not going to get to the root cause of the issue that might be preventing from somebody from doing well. And with the why, let's face it, we all have egos. And as a manager, I don't ask why, because if I ask why, then that means I don't know the answer. Right. And I don't want to look bad, in front of my employees.
Yeah, and again, it's the difference between kind of consulting and coaching, right? We're not coming in saying, why are you doing it this way? You really want to say, how did you come to the way to do this, and really trying to figure out why. It comes across very accusatory anyway, I think, in a lot of circumstances. But how and what, I think, are great questions to ask. But I think another piece that's really important when you're asking questions is how well you're listening for the answers, and how often you let them fill the space. I mean, I personally have a hard time with quiet space in a conversation, right? I want to leap in. I've had to train myself as a coach to not leap into those open spaces, because that's really the time where the person's thinking, and it may be something hard for them to process or something uncomfortable for them to really break through, but it's in those silences that they get the value of the answers. And again, if we're kind of coming in as a coach, we're not coming in giving the answers, we're helping them figure out the right way to do what they want to do, and giving that advice. So I think or not giving the advice, really helping them get to the answer that they want to be, and helping them internally to become the person they aspire to be in the work situation.
Yeah, and a lot of times if we do jump in during those quiet spots with the answer, we'll anchor them in one particular perspective or a solution to how they should do their job. Right. And that's not what we want to do as a coach, because how you do something and how I do something may be totally different, but yet we get to the same results.
Right.
And I think part of coaching is respecting that. And to look at individuals, and again, going back to, this isn't just your middle of the road people or people who have issues that you're coaching. You're coaching, and since we're in Indianapolis, I'll use Andrew Luck. I mean, how does a coach Andrew Luck? It's difficult than a quarterback that just comes out of college. And so those two coaching, it could be the same quarterback coach, but they've got to coach them in different ways.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, by asking questions, you're going to be able to detect their comfort level, their skill level, their abilities, and find out what they're doing well and where they can improve. That's going to help you to offer that coaching.
Yeah, for years I used to work with a sales trainer for my team, a guy named Skip Miller. And he used to tell us in the leadership part of that training is, if you spend all your time with C players trying to make them B players, if you spend even, part of that time helping your A players become superstars, helping your B players become A players, your returns are so much larger. So in a lot of times, I think as leaders, we get so focused on how do I go get this person, the C player, either get them coached up or coached out, and I ignore my A players. A players are the people you need to give the most attention to in a different context than you might on someone you're trying to help course correct or improve, but giving them those opportunities to help them work through whatever's blocking them. Yeah. Maybe it's just one sale, and if you can come in and help them unblock what that one sale is, that's a huge impact. So I think this whole idea that coaching is for low performers is really, I don't coach low performers. I coach a lot of A players who want to up their game. Those are the people that are trying to kind of take things to the next level. And I think coaching has become more of an acceptable business practice in that area, and something pretty valuable.
Yeah, something key you said there too was want to up their game.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, let's face it, with A players, sometimes you get A players who just get lazy. And when they start to compare what they're doing, what everybody else is doing, they're thinking, I don't need to change.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's when you need to light the fire with some good coaching to get them up to that next level. Because in their mind, they're thinking, well, I'm the best salesperson you got.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep doing what I do.
And there's probably a piece in there, they're probably getting there because they're not getting a lot of attention. They may get the thrown off praise in a big group meeting, but what are you doing to pull that person in and saying, hey, what's your biggest challenge right now?
Mm-hmm.
What's a deal that's in a place you don't want it to be and you'd like to get there? Where are those challenges? Where can you use help? That's where I think you get a lot of coaching development, coaching benefit from coaching A players, is you help them kind of get that deal they might not otherwise get.
Yeah, and sometimes with the A players, it's just that they've forgotten the basics.
Right.
Because they have so many different nuances. And so sometimes coaching the A players is getting back to the basics to help out. Okay, so our key takeaways from today when it comes on becoming an effective coach, hit it.
Yeah, well, I think, I'll end where we started, that coaching is a full-time job. This is something that, we're going to talk in another episode about kind of communication and being visible as a manager. And these are the things which is why you've got to be out in front of your people. You see opportunities to coach, you bring them in and have developmental conversations and about how to get from where they are to where they want to be and help them close that gap. That's a huge opportunity for leaders to get breakthrough performance.
Right. And one of the things, key takeaway that I got from you were the 3 different distinctions between a coach, a mentor, and the consultant.
Yeah.
And in that particular regard, if you're coaching, you're helping them get better. If you're mentoring, you're giving them advice, but not really coaching them. You're giving them your perspective on something. And a consultant, you get paid to go in and tell people what to do. And that's not going to get you some good collaboration and teamwork with your team players.
Exactly.
Okay. So we hope you enjoyed today's episode on becoming a more effective coach. If you like today's video, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe to our channel.
And if you like what you heard today and you'd like to share that with somebody, perhaps a leader you think needs to become a better coach, feel free to share our content. We really appreciate it.
Again, this was Q&A on Breakthrough Leadership. I'm Lou Quinto.
And I'm Craig Anderson.
Thanks for watching.